2020. What's going on, everyone? I'm Vic. This is KC. Zamore. We back in the studio with it.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome to the pod.
Man, it's been a long, almost 3 months since we've been in the studio.
It's been a minute.
It's been a lot has happened in 3 months with the virus, with police brutality, with the primaries, with everything. Society in general.
Yeah.
And 3 months ago, during the premiere show, we kind of joked about, we didn't joke about the virus, but we didn't take it as serious as we thought.
We seen it could get bad. We kind of put it out there that like things could get worse than what it is, and things did get worse.
But I don't think we envision over 40 million people been out of jobs, 100,000 people dead, the economy in shambles. I don't think we envision receiving a stimulus check.
Think about this, that people were already dying. You know, the economy was already corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing new. But now it's just at the surface, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And during the election year, that's the irony of all that.
Yeah, you know, that people are trying to get elected now. You know?
Right.
It's politicians, everybody, you know, they got, you know, their motive they want to get across, you know, their perspective. They, you know, they sit there and say, like, they stand for something, you know, like this whole Black Lives Matter thing. It looks a little trendy to me, you know, a little trendy right now. That's the only thing I like. I like the fact that, you know, we are being taken in consideration now. Like, we mean something. Like, people trying to make it seem like we mean something now. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But the thing is, and you know, history will show this. Why does it take for us to rip shit up, burn shit, you know,
that's what it
for
takes
for people to take us serious?
But was it really us ripping shit and burning shit?
No. I mean, the vast majority of people that was burning shit was from other walks of life. Yeah.
You think about this, though, and then you got the looters. So you think about, it's always going to be a bad group of people that tag along with that big crowd that's trying to do something positive.
Yeah.
Because they get to blend in to do whatever they need to do. They can, you know, sit there and join in. So not everyone who's going out to protest is bad, you know, like going to be a looter. But you got looters who blend in with the protesters, and, you know. I mean, honestly, anything to get the point across. I'm not against the looters. I mean, I understand, you know, people, there's other people's property and everything. You should have insurance. You should know how to do business at that point. But
that's kind of.
I think it's kind of this is like the only way you get someone's attention sometimes. You know, with all this bad stuff, you need chaos to really grab someone's attention.
I agree with the chaos. I think with the looters, they are basically opportunists. They're looking for reasons.
They're opportunity every time.
They're looking for reasons to steal shit, and then they're going to turn around and try to flip it
and act
for a
like
profit.
You know they're the victims.
But I
or
mean,
whatever.
at the end of the day, an insurance company can replace.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If your business is right, it can restore everything that's lost. A black life is not going to come back.
Right.
Once a life is gone, it's gone.
Right.
So.
And you know, the beautiful thing about, you know, the protests is the fact that who's leading the charge? We are, young people. You have your old people, they're out there, but the vast majority of people out there marching and, you know, out there from sun up to sundown with their signs protesting is majority young people.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing because sometimes, you know, the older folks, they seem to think that we don't care about anything. We're so self-centered and selfish, and you know, all we care about is our handheld, you know, devices and social media and all that. But that's not true at all. That's not true. I mean, we're very smart. And
I mean, with those handheld devices is how we learn. So you can't get mad because when you think about it, back then they had books. They didn't have computers like that. So all we're essentially walking around is with our books. Like we're constantly learning.
think about how Martin Luther King had to gather people. He didn't gather the people just, it was like word of mouth then. But now think about how many people you can gather today just through this technology we have, So it's a pro at that point when you look at it. It's like, it's kind of good that we have this, the way we spread this message across, the world, the entire nation, it's international. People overseas.
Without these, we wouldn't have been able to even get police cameras. Because think about it, we was recording on our
you had to start recording. And the crazy thing is, I'm not even the type of person to sit there and record something. So something going on with me, I'm going to be SOL. If I'm not going to record it. I'm not going to sit there and be like, how you doing, officer?
But now, but you know what, nowadays, and even, white people do it too. It seems like every interaction you have with law enforcement, you have to record because...
I never recorded any of mine.
Right.
Unfortunately, when you look at the numbers, we're 13% of population. Out of the population, we're 43% that are killed by police officers.
Right.
White people are 60. They're about, 23%? It looks like on paper, we're dying at proportionally more rates. That's the only reason why black people are stepping forward saying Black Lives Matter.
Right.
But ultimately, police brutality doesn't have a color.
Right. No, it doesn't.
There's multiple black, white, Spanish, Native American. It doesn't matter what you walk
The
at.
rates are higher for African American.
It's just black people are being killed at a more proportionate number, but it doesn't change that the others are being killed as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying that nobody else does. We're saying that we're the target.
Right. And that's the thing, because, you got the all lives matter folks who you want to, run with that banner all the time. But, if all lives matter,
Black
lives wouldn't be getting killed in the street with no justice.
I think people just be so quick to talk.
No justice. That's the thing.
Right.
We don't get no justice.
And that's the other key to it.
I looked up some of the numbers. I can't really quote them because I'm still using my handheld device.
Yeah.
But honestly, you see more. I forgot what I was about to say.
But you're seeing more black folks getting killed in the street with no justice. Officers are getting paid administrative leave. They continue receiving a pension, and even if they do get fired, the police union is so powerful. These officers, they find another job somewhere else.
Security, whatever.
Or just with another agency.
But that's the thing. They go to a different department.
Right.
So it's not fixing the issue.
It's not.
Why I'm like, honestly, me personally, I'm for defunding. Forget reforming, training, all of that other stuff. Defund it. Take the money and put it towards the neighborhood.
So when you say defunding, what are you specifically talking about?
So when defunding takes place, defunding is basically taking the funds, the $15 million that Mayor Bowser would have put towards the police and putting it towards the communities.
Okay.
D.C., everybody knows D.C. has a track record for crime.
Right.
For drugs, for trafficking, for so many different things.
Right.
Versus paying the police who don't know how to handle these type of things. How about you take that money and put it towards either the community itself, as well as, and when I mean community, I mean the education, I mean the poverty-rich neighborhoods, I mean the healthcare system, I mean more hospitals. How about that? You want to do more prisons? How about more hospitals?
Well, I think, I'll go with Casey.
I would say defunding can work in two different ways. Like either, say like you hit somebody in their pockets, either they listen and start cooperating and doing the right thing, or they group up and go and strike or whatever, fight back. It's like they're human too. Yeah. Huh?
Defunding isn't getting rid of
I know, but that's hitting their pockets, and nobody everybody got families to take care of.
Yeah, but if they,
especially to be a cop and like, hey, you're gonna need something to compensate you for that. Your life is in danger every single day, especially right now. It's very bad.
But having the bad outweigh the good, is that not putting your life in even more danger?
And that's the point I was going to make. That's why the good police officers need to speak up, speak out like they have been doing, because if they don't,
they're going to be
the public thinks that, okay, well, you're complicit with this behavior, so you must think it's acceptable for this to be occurring when it's not okay. And you have your folks out there who are going to target you regardless because you wear a badge, you wear a uniform, and you're a part of the problem. You know, if you don't, and that's why community policing is so important, because if you do not immerse yourself in the community you work in, get to know the people, get to know the community, and just genuinely care about the area in which you are operating in.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that can be worked towards. But defunding first, that's going to weed out some of the bad cops already. Because like you said, they're not going to go out and put their life on the line to do what they can do with a whole group of KKK members.
That's hard, because
it's real hard. I mean, because it's such a. Well, think about this. We need cops. Think about if they decided to go on strike. If they decided to go on strike, so who's going to police these cities, these towns, you know, these urban areas where crime does happen, where black people are shooting each other, even though they don't even want to sit there and go to their areas. But you really ain't going to have no one at all.
I think as far as...
They don't have anyone. They're already not policing half of these
I mean, some areas, they don't go.
But that's what I'm saying. So with that being said, why not just defund it? Defund police officers. Allow them to come in when necessary. But as far as like, because when you think about it, and even one of the police chiefs mentioned this. I can't remember the name, but I can go back and actually look at it. But they even mentioned this, how they're called for everything.
Right.
Mental health emergencies, they're called for.
Right.
Somebody get locked outside of their car.
They're called for every single thing. And you got to understand, with the bad outweighing the good, if they're called for everything, you're calling the bad to you. You're calling the bad to the situation. They're already coming there with this mindset. With mental health issues, and me working, and I've worked for, I worked EMT. I worked private ambulance company. I've seen multiple times cops literally throwing mental patients because they're irritated, because they're doing too much.
Well,
but they're not trained to deal with it.
Right.
And then the training that they do get is subpar training.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you put into training, because when you think about it, a couple of years ago, they had a lot of money that went towards training.
Yeah.
I mean,
you still see the same situations and issues.
So with training, I say if they did put the right amount of money in training and took it serious and actually enforced what I'm trying to get discriminating against black people.
But training doesn't change the person though. So the discrimination is going to always be in their mind.
No,
because
training
they don't
can
like
change
the
person. Because that's what training does. Training going to sit there over time. When you learn things, it's just going to sit there, grow in your body, especially if you keep coming in contact with it. It's like positive words. Every time you hear more positive words, you're going to become a more positive person.
But when you think about when they're going home and where their mindset is, half of them are racist. That doesn't change. They've seen it for years. They love it. They don't care.
So
the training is not going to change the mindset of the person.
Training can make someone more compassionate.
Only if they have some form of compassion towards that person to begin with.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that,
it's a way to get to every person, I believe. You know, that's definitely my opinion, because you can get through to any person. Because, you know, just like we have children, some racist white man may have children too. So you can develop a message. So this is conditioning
from a child that you're trying to fight with training. And
I understand what you're saying.
All they got to do is sit there for 3 hours. They don't even have to listen.
Yeah, it started so long ago with.
So they sit there. They sit there in that training, and they go like this for 3 hours. They listen, and they go out and shoot a
But they shouldn't be there. That's the thing. They shouldn't be there. That's what I'm saying. Making sure the training go right. They should not be there if they're sitting there like that.
But they can play a part.
The training is a very, very.
You gotta take it serious. That's what I believe.
Well, the training is a very, very big.
It wouldn't be no
part
mishaps like this
of policing. I think that the training they receive a lot of it is glossed over when it comes to being personable and interacting with the community. I think a lot of that stuff is glossed over. I think a lot of the training is focused on, how to deal with certain situations, how to do vehicle searches, how to arrest people, how to detain people, how to search someone. But a lot of the training isn't focused on how to, and that's what I think you're getting at, Zamora, is the fact that a lot of training isn't focused on how to interact with the community.
But that's the thing. They have at least 3 hours of training specifically for that, and to deal with mental health issues. So it's not the training. To me, I mean, yeah, it is, but essentially, it's not the training that's the problem. It's the people that's the problem.
Right.
It's the cops that are the problem. It's the bad cops that are the problem. But honestly, when you say good cops and bad cops, I feel like. Honestly, like, I'm starting to lose the difference between the two at this point, because the good cops should be standing up against the bad cops, and they're not. So are you a good cop or are you a silent cop? That's the difference. You're not a good cop because you remain silent. That doesn't make you a good cop.
Right. That makes you complicit in the act.
Or because you do, or you go by the book, that doesn't make you a good cop. That makes you a good worker.
Right. Because you're doing the bare minimum.
Because
basically.
You're doing the bare minimum.
Right.
You're a good worker, sure. You can stay on the payroll because you do what you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other issue.
Even then, you shut up.
Right.
When you're needed the most. And honestly, I have a lot of friends that are in law enforcement. Me working at EMT, as well as I have friends that chose law enforcement. And for them, I'm like, y'all better start speaking. Y'all gotta step up. And that's another thing that people aren't doing often. They're not holding the good cops accountable. You're just as accountable as these bad cops.
Right.
I mean, look at George Floyd's situation. How many cops were standing around him? How many cops was involved?
What was it, 4? I think it was 4.
Over 4.
Right. 4 or 5?
4.
I think it was 4.
Over 4. Because 2 cop cars rolled up after the first cop car.
Yeah, it's where 2 were holding his legs.
That means at least 6 or more was actually present.
Okay.
Outside of the EMTs and things that were also there as well. So you're telling me that all of these people were around, and even before the situation. Let's just go off of the 4 cops. Out of 4 cops, one is kneeling on the other's back. One is kneeling on one person's back. The other one is guarding, and the other 2 is standing over there worried about who?
Crowd control, right.
Security.
But you didn't think to turn back or look, and then on some of the videos, you actually see them looking. Are they doing anything? So silence doesn't make you a good cop. Right. You're still a bad cop in my eyes because you didn't serve and protect.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal of police officers, right? Is to serve and protect.
Right.
You're serving the police department, but are you protecting the people? No.
Right.
I mean, that I think that part right there is just because with, say, like cops, military, anything, you got a squad. You got people you're with. So when you're out, you don't want to cause conflict with your squad or anyone. Y'all all want to be in sync with each other. So I can understand why someone wouldn't want to go against their partner outside in an environment where they need each other. They need to be in sync right now. You got to think about the other side, them being in their shoes. They got to be together on the same page, or one of them can die. Anybody.
But you have racist officers that has allowed black officers to be killed. They do not care. So that's what it boils down to, is getting rid of the racists that are
Yeah.
What are they doing?
But also, like I said, I believe that training. If they hit them with training. So think about this. In the military, when you're going overseas, you got to know, you get briefed on everything you're about to come across. So when you go on to interact with someone, it's best that you know their customs, their cultures, and everything.
But the custom and cultures that are taught within the police department, whether
they
it be
should be taught.
Training,
They should be taught in training.
Black people are that. Black people are issue. Black people are this. This is the mindset and conditioning that they. Even sometimes people, I've seen it in the police department. You see people go from essentially good people. I love everyone.
Yeah.
To black people are this, black people are that. Why? Because the mindset and conditioning that happens in the police department.
Yeah.
Right.
So essentially, are there really good cops or people that just haven't been mindful yet?
Well, I think those who switch up after they get to the department, they're basically followers and yes men, black, white, whoever.
How many officers have to be followers and yes men?
Well, I mean,
you're always gonna have people like that. I mean, how many protesters are followers and yes men?
Very true.
So I mean, you're always gonna have those people that blend in.
But protesters and cops
I mean, it's two different dynamics, but I think the great equalizer to the training aspect, because the training is still pretty extensive and it's pretty good. I think the great equalizer to that are the good police officers, because in each department's respective rules and regulations and code of conduct and all that, I'm 99% sure that a vast majority of all departments throughout the country has a clause in their rules that says if you observe behavior by a fellow officer, you are authorized to intervene.
But how many times is it intervened?
Not very often.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say just defund it. If these measures are being taken, these constant measures are being taken to alleviate the proportionately large amount of deaths of African American people towards the hands of police officers. And I would say man, but it's not just man. It's children, it's women, it's men, it's trans, it's everyone. At some point, I can't change this.
You can't.
I can't change.
You can't change it at all.
I can, but I can't.
You can bleach your skin.
I can bleach it, but it don't change who I am.
You can change it.
I can bleach it. Yeah,
you can do it. But it wouldn't
But
be in
does
your
it
best.
change who I am? It doesn't change. I'm still going to have the fat nose, the commonalities of African American features.
Yeah.
It's still going to be. I'm still going to be African American. I'm still here.
I am for defunding the police not looking like the military.
Oh.
I am definitely for that.
That too.
Because I don't think any police force should look like the military.
Tactics. Some of their training, some of their training is
they don't
military
do things
tactics.
like the military.
Well,
No,
okay,
but some of their
I get what you're
subduing
saying.
methods are based in military tactics.
Well, some of that stuff has to be based that way. Like when you're doing like building searches and all that, okay, you have to kind of.
But
this is the
basic
way you do
police
it.
officers, I mean, come on now. Like, first off, like, honestly, like, I feel like with the defunding, what will make it happen is like basic police officers that are supposed to serve and protect the people, you know, come when, you know, somebody's attacking them or something's happening that is major.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when that comes about, it will level out the situation in many ways in defunding it, because I feel like when they defund, it will cause that situation to de-escalate. They don't have to learn military tactics if all they're doing is coming to police a certain situation. But that's the thing. Everybody thinks that every situation is supposed to be police. If it's somebody who has mental health illnesses, why are you sending a police officer that's only had about 3 hours of training on how to even deal with them?
Right. No, yeah, that I agree with.
Yeah. I believe.
So you send out a mental health expert, send out a dispatching team. Oh, we don't have money for that. Defund the police, and I bet you'll have money for it.
So I think, defunding the police is a controversial topic, because what if you have a situation where there's a hostage situation and someone's barricaded inside a house?
Call SWAT.
Right. But SWAT operates like the military.
Yeah.
So that.
Call SWAT. But SWAT, like you said, they operate like they're military. They're only called when necessary, when force is necessary,
of course.
is going to be necessary at some point or deemed necessary.
Right.
A cop can go. He deems the force necessary. Problem solved. George Floyd. I deemed it necessary. I deemed my knee in the back of his neck necessary.
Yeah, I mean.
So I feel like in defunding police officers, I'm not saying that they're not needed. I'm not saying that they're not appreciated when they are needed. But as far as the force goes, as far as, and I don't mean like the police force, I mean like actual
the force used.
The force used and utilized is ridiculous. Yeah. And it has to stop.
Yeah, well, and every department has something called a force continuum triangle, and it's different layers to the amount of force you're authorized to use. You know, when you have someone detained on the ground in handcuffs, There's no need to put your neck. Don't put your knee on their neck.
But how many times have you seen this happen when they're either handcuffed,
all the time,
subdued,
yeah,
or
all the
anything, and they still attack? So that's what I mean. But and the training that they have is based in military tactics.
Mm-hmm. But when they're going,
how is that safe?
When they're going through those scenarios where they're doing that training, you're not putting your knee on someone's neck. I guarantee you that. So they're taught a right way how to do things, but like you were saying earlier,
like driving.
They still do what they want.
Like, think about this: you go take that driver's test, you have to drive a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. Then when you get off on the road, when you pass that test, what you gonna do?
That's what I mean. The mind conditioning, the conditioning of the mind. You're still gonna do what you want to do. So the training, and that's why I said that's why I'm game for defunding, because the training, the cameras, we've tried everything. It does not work. We're still being killed at proportionate numbers.
Well, and that's where the justice system is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we can deal with the justice system.
Yeah, I mean,
the justice system definitely has to be dealt with.
Because you're never going to weed out all of the bad apples. But this is why this case is so important, because if justice is served the way it should be, okay, a lot of cops who are out there who are dirty, they're going to think twice. And this is why the justice system has to get this case right, because if they don't get it right, it's going to be cities burning across the country.
But how many times have you seen them not get it right?
But I feel like this time is different, though. I feel like this time is different because now you have.
It feels historic.
I feel the same way.
It does feel historic. I feel the same way
about Trayvon Martin, and we ain't seen
no. You didn't see this many people.
You didn't see this many people protesting for 2 weeks straight, and the numbers are growing every single day. You didn't have companies coming out issuing statements saying we condone this violence against the black community. You have all these different companies that are stepping up to the plate, and they are saying this as an issue.
Is that when have you ever seen protests, whatever, regardless of the number size, when have you ever seen that sway or really impact the justice system at all?
You gotta think about this. How long has this United States, justice system been around, and where they derive from? In law, most of their stuff is written in Latin already for a reason. For the disadvantage of everyone else that don't understand Latin.
Very true.
So you gotta think about already. You gotta go against something you don't even understand. And you got to try to understand it. So trying to tackle the justice system is definitely going to be hard.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be a process.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, to boil down the two issues, police, justice system. We're going after police. We're trying to change the police. We're trying to, get some change within the police force.
All you gotta do is change the law. Make laws. Like, laws is what change everything.
But that also comes with voting, because we have the same Congress.
We need the right people in power.
You got the same people that's been sitting for what, 50, 60
But see,
years?
that's the other problem, especially with us black folks. We think our vote don't count.
And it do.
It does.
And it does count, and I understand that,
And not just presidency.
Right, no, I'm just talking about state and local elections in your areas you live in, and we think our vote don't count, and I understand that there's powers above us that do try to
alter,
discourage, discourage us coming out to vote, i.e. in Georgia, for example, but that still shouldn't be a reason for you not to vote, because if you don't vote, then you can't complain about anything at all. If you don't make your voice heard.
You can still at the end of the day, but you didn't do anything to try to fix the situation.
Exactly. You can complain all you want. You can talk.
It's like complaining I can't get a job but not filling out application.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Or filling out one a day and thinking that it's changing something.
Right. I mean, so with all this that's going on, it starts locally and within your own state by voting for people who are about the progression of us as a people,
as well as the community,
right? And not have all these outside, establishments and influence that is going to have power over the process. And the internet doesn't hide anything.
It don't.
So when these people are running for these offices, their websites tell you what they're about. So there's no reason for us not to know what these people stand for.
Not only their websites, but so many other things that they've been included in. Their name will be included. All you got to do is type in their name. You can find out anything about anybody.
Yeah.
You can find out the dirt, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to see.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, unless there's nothing out there on them. They kept it.
100
under the books.
But I mean, let's talk about politicals. They're never going to keep it 100. Nobody in the political field will ever keep it completely 100. But at least they can at least be at least 70, 80%.
That's the thing. You can't be 100 in politics. That's why people who are 100 in real don't fit politics. Because you can't. You got to play the game. It's a game you got to play. It's a language you got to speak. Game you gotta play. You gotta shake hands, kiss ass, and for people you don't even really like, it may be your worst enemy, but y'all gotta act like best friends.
Yeah, and I think that's also what made President Obama so special, was the fact that no one really knows behind the scenes like everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of black people, they always say, well, he didn't do nothing for us. Yeah, that's true, but we don't know how many times he tried to pass legislation for us. Right.
That's the. We didn't do much for him either.
But what made
he didn't do much for us, we didn't do much for him.
But what made him so special was the fact that throughout his 8 years he was in office, he always remained personable. His personality never changed. You saw this man walking the street of D.C. quite often, and that has never happened, ever.
Very true.
I mean, some people good in the hood, Some people just good. You can just walk outside and, people fuck with you.
Well,
not everybody got that.
Essentially, people did fuck with him, not only because he was black, but because of what he was trying to push. But, once again, we got some Democrats that took over. Cool. Not many. It was still Republicans. So you can't have a Democratic presidency, a little bit of Republicans, a little bit of Democrats, majority Republicans, and expect so much change.
All right.
They're not there. It's two different parties, two different mindsets, two different agreements, two different everything.
I mean, to be honest, if we're going to talk politics, I don't think, so black people don't know, you can't expect much change from the Democratic Party. Because those are the people that's trying to keep y'all eating out their hands, with this welfare and all this stuff. They want y'all to want this stuff. Exactly. That way, we can make y'all happy, and then we get elected and do everything we need to do. That is their goal. That is what they do. And Republican Party just only benefits business owners and people who own property and stuff. That's the only reason. That's the difference. That's one of the differences. It's multiple. But
if you really want to speak politics, we need a whole new party.
Well,
and that I believe that. So I agree with that 100%. But it's hard because you already got these two parties who've been dominating.
Yeah.
Throughout this country.
We got the Margaret Party that tried to come about. But
as a community, we used to vote Republican hard, long time ago. Yeah. But I don't know what type of transformation they went through over time to where it's so much deep-rooted racism and hate.
We didn't have no land, no nothing. Here we didn't have nothing. So us being Republicans, then it was pointless after that. We needed help. So we had to go to the hand and eat out the palm of the hand for the Democrats. We had to elect these are the ones saying they're going to take care of us.
Yeah.
All we got to do is vote for them.
Yeah.
So.
And essentially, we also got to learn to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's what we should be doing in general
not just as yourself as a person, but as a people. We got to learn to take care of each other. Black people are very, very, very diversified. You light skin, you stay over there. You dark skin, you stay over there. You this, you that. You from here, you from there. It don't matter where you from. Don't matter anything else. You're black. You have a whole country that's against your ass.
Right.
Forget where you from.
Right.
The only place that matters where you from is the vagina that you popped out of and the skin color that you ended up with.
Right.
That's what matters.
All right.
Real shit.
When I came in this world, I was a black man.
Yeah, I mean you can't you can't change who you are, and and that's.
But you can change how you conduct yourself.
Of course.
And not only that, like honestly, I gotta say it, and I get a lot of flack on social media for whatever. We gotta stop killing each other.
Yeah.
That's an also issue.
Yeah,
that's a big
that's true.
issue. I'm not saying that police brutality isn't an issue in African American. It is, but we are also our own virus as well.
Everybody kill each other. All races kill each other.
All races kill each other, but we kill each other at a more proportionate number.
We get noticed.
We're killing each other the same rate as the police are killing us.
Right.
Almost, but we're sitting here saying, "Fuck the police."
Right.
Well, fuck Ray down the street that shot Lil Rod over there.
Right.
How about that? Snitch on that shit.
But that's what
y'all want good cops to snitch on bad cops, but y'all don't want to snitch.
But that's what the ignorant white folks hold on to, is the fact that okay, we all kill each other. Well, we already know that people kill
That's
who
the
they
issue
know.
that we're addressing.
Yeah, people kill who they know based off of your geographical location and the area you live in. That's a given. I mean, white people kill white people.
Yeah.
That's a
Very
problem
true.
too.
That's a problem too.
So
insurance money.
I would say black people, but I will say, like I said, unfortunately, like the other day, like not too long ago, in the chaos of this, you have older black woman that was also a statue that was in the DC community, shot down and killed.
Right.
And it wasn't by police hands. It was by our own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's sickening. In the midst of all of this shit that's going on, and you see a whole society, a whole country that's against you.
Right.
You sit there and kill each other. That's not helping.
Well,
I'm saying, like, the same people that's out there marching is the same people that's out there killing us. You can't march for less death and police brutality. You can't march for that if at the end of the day you're not assisting and allowing black lives to matter.
Right. Well, we should be marching for us killing each other as well.
We should be marching for a better
for all of that
society. Group
right. Not just police brutality. We should be marching for black on black crime, white on white crime. We should be marching for all of that.
I mean,
yeah.
We already got a problem as a community. Then we have our individual problems.
We have our mindset that was adapted. I mean, our problems.
But that's not our fault, though.
Our problems can go all the way back down to slavery.
Right. That's where it starts.
But also, we're in a different time.
Mm-hmm.
We have phones. We have computers. We have books. We have knowledge. We have everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you have people that are out there trying to change, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like we're not trying to combat the rate of African Americans killing other African Americans. I don't believe in black on black crime. There's no such thing, because like you said, every race is going to kill within their race. That's just what the fuck it is.
Right.
Crime is crime.
But crime is crime.
Right.
But our crime rates are ridiculously high, and we have to work towards, and that's another reason why I believe in the defunding of police officers.
But our crime rate is so high because a lot of us are in poverty.
I was about to say, and that's why I believe in that's
where I was going, where the problems.
And that's why I do agree in defunding the police officers, because it will give back. It will give that $45 million that she was.
That's not going to fix nobody's problems. Our problems are with ourselves. That's the thing. We got to work on ourselves.
But
we don't let things go. That's the thing. That's another thing.
So what Zamora is basically saying is, some of that money that's allocated to police that they really don't need can go towards schools.
Yeah, schools. That would help our community.
Computers.
But what about the ones who are committing the crimes now that you were talking about, like us killing each other? That's not going to fix their problems. You know, these are the ones killing each other.
These
are the ones. No, these will help the children. The schools are going to help the children. The future. The schools are for the future.
It's not just for the schools, though. I'm not just saying fund the schools. I'm saying fund the community itself. Fund. Right. I mean, y'all want to build up so many.
That's not going to fix their problem.
Y'all failing to realize that the problem within the African American people is that we have it's the fact that we have PTSD.
It's opportunity.
We have bipolar disorder, PTSD. Yeah, so many most.
But that's what I'm saying. That's within you.
Well, yes, but systematically. Right.
Yeah, it happened from whatever happened to you.
And change it, but it's not just what happened to us back then in slavery. It's about what's happening to us now in our communities.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying put money into neighborhoods to gentrify them. I'm saying fix them.
Right.
Don't gentrify it. Fix it.
Right.
And that don't mean build up more police departments and jail cells.
Right.
That's not what it does. I feel like with defunding, you're not just putting money towards school. You're putting money towards mental health buildings. You're putting money towards the community itself. You're putting money towards getting people off the streets and getting them into helping programs. A lot of these people, I've known people that's been in the streets for years, and my uncle got shot and killed because he was trying to get out the streets.
Right.
Because he was trying to get out the streets.
Right.
Not my uncle, my cousin. He older than me. He's older than me. He uncle of the family, but he cousin. You gotta acknowledge what he is. R.I.P. Yumpy. But at the end of the day, that's what I mean by if you implement places where these people can go, that they can feel safe.
And have opportunity given to them, because you got to also think about the people that have the records that I mean, let's be real, Bill Clinton probably had, 3 strikes you out, first off. So let's not, and we build up those strikes like clockwork after the first one, because it's harder for you to come back after the first time you're in. But matter of fact, let's talk about drugs too. More rehab centers. Yeah. You literally, when the white people started getting bent off on dippers and everything else, y'all literally created a safe haven for them to actually shoot up and survive. You didn't do that in black communities. You barely have a rehab center. Right. Rehab centers are also mental institutions. Did y'all know that? Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times, it's mental institutions as well as rehab. So you're not receiving the full rehabilitation.
Right.
And you're being subjected to seeing mentally unstable people, which will cause you to have PTSD. So when you get out of rehab, most likely you're either going to get back on that drug itself,
right,
or you're going to end up in the system.
And the system
systematically is set up for us to fail.
And the system meaning what? Prison. Yeah, because the prison system is a $1 billion industry. The prison got to be filled somehow with people, and who's it filled up with? Us.
Might as well be black people.
It's cheap labor. Why you think it's billion?
It's slavery.
You can get.
No, it's modern day slavery.
It's modern day slavery.
Right.
The industries, the prison industries, their company, bro. Like you can get a lot of people to do business with you because you make a lot of things for cheap. You're good for business. You can save me money and you can make money at the same time because you got so many people come to you because you got guaranteed people that's gonna be there to be able to work. They ain't got no other choice. Other choice, because they're going to need, get their cigarettes, wherever, noodles, ramen, their commissary, everything in there. It's a trap. I mean, yeah, it is a trap. Once you get in that system, once you get in that river, that current just take off with you, it's hard to get out of it.
Because black people don't have those halfway houses and things and better transitioning programs. We don't have them. We don't have transitioning programs, so when
we also don't help each other, enough. We can help each other.
That's what I mean by instead of we also have to help each other. if we don't I mean, when you think about how they moved in the 50s and 60s, black people was together. That's the one. I mean, yeah,
the community, everybody in the community, in the neighborhood knew each other.
We had a community, and not only that, we respected each other. I'm not saying that we didn't kill each other at some points. We didn't, because like you said, it's going to happen because you are living in a black neighborhood. You're going to kill a black person, so on and so forth. It's going to happen. I mean, you're going to have confrontation. You're going to have escalated situations. Cool, but we were for each other, and that's not something that you see. I mean, you had the Black Panther Party. You had the Black Panther Party. I mean, you had them, you know, you had people that was at least trying.
Good old Black Panthers. And why were they created?
We're not going to start about that. I'm just saying, you had people
the streets.
You had people that was, you know, some people that was willing to take back the community, take back the neighborhood. Not as a totality. I'm not saying that you didn't have corrupt Black Panther people as well.
Right.
But as far as it goes, the Black Panther Party,
it was to protect us from white supremacy and Jim Crow.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And are we not still facing these issues today?
Yeah.
On a different level.
But that's because because even the government's been working against us the entire time.
Exactly.
Since we stepped foot.
But here. You had the Black Panther that was setting up, you know, buildings for people to come to, halfway houses. You had African American people caring about African American people.
You had a system of people funding for each other, though. They was donating to each other to build that, you know, safe haven. They took care of each other.
We stood together.
We're not doing that right now.
We don't do that.
But see, that's where a lot of our anger comes from, because since we've been here, we've done nothing but try to create opportunities for ourselves and our families. I mean, look at Black Wall Street. Look what happened with that.
Burned it down.
It was burned down, never built back up.
That shit back up.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying, and that comes on our part, because it was our job to build that shit back up. Y'all tear it down, we're going to come back stronger.
We have all these black millionaires who spend all this money on jewelry and all this unnecessary shit.
Yes.
Put that shit into the community.
Put that shit, and that was another thing that I was actually discussing the other day, was that in particular, you have so many people that want to be for the people.
Right.
Are you helping the people? You're not going back to the community that you came from.
Right.
And then, the person I was talking to was like, yeah, but they still give to, you know, the less fortunate within where they live now. That's not where you came from.
Right.
That's not where you came. Give back to where you came from. Put back into your old neighborhood.
Right.
Because without them, you wouldn't have made it.
Right.
I think everybody's going to have their different perspectives, because you think about this. All right, say if it's you and you come from a different background where nobody helped you out, nobody gave you nothing, and you had to work your ass off to get what you wanted. Now, you did all that. Nobody was there for you. You couldn't count on nobody. You had no support. You did this all by yourself. You built this empire. Now, when you're at the top, now people expect you to look out for them. And you know.
I mean, but it's not.
It's like you didn't get no handout now. But it's like, you know, some people look at it different. That's not, I wouldn't be that type of person. I believe in, you know, always, you know, giving back to where you came from, being where you're from, you know.
So that's
But some people go through that where they like, man, this is my money. I work for this. I don't have to give it all away. And they don't.
You don't have to give it all away, but at least give $1,000.
Understandable.
Truth is, what if they more looking at it as, I have kids. My kids I got to make sure my kids prepared for life. You don't never know what they mean. I get you, but some people are hungry for money. Why you think they got rich? You don't get rich, you're not being money hungry.
Reach back to those other people that are also trying to do what you did.
So all that's understandable. We're not saying give money and put it in someone's pocket per se. We're saying, okay, if you came from an impoverished community that don't have many great opportunities, and you're this athlete or you're this big time rapper or whatever,
that's the only thing that we can
put that money back into the communities you grew up in, because by you doing that, those kids who are growing up in that community you grew up in, they're going to feel like they have all these different opportunities to succeed and be you, hopefully someday, by you investing into the community.
Exactly.
I agree.
It's not about.
Reaching back.
It's not about, okay, you giving money to somebody. It's not about that. It's about you giving back to the community that you grew up in, and helping and evolve the community so that way, as years go along and as you get older, it's a better place than it was when you were coming up. And that's our problem as a whole in the black community. We don't pass down things that we learn. We don't pass down nothing. We're so selfish. Yeah. We don't pass anything down.
I made it. Now you can get up out of this bucket too.
Exactly.
Out of this barrel too. I pulled myself, but by stepping on so many people as well. Like when you think about it, like you have those people as well that have stepped on many people to get to where they're at, and you can't reach back.
Climb that ladder,
you can't reach back to try to at least be like, well, I know I stepped on you, but let me go ahead and help the community out a little bit. Let me try to do something for them.
Some people don't think it's enough room at the top, man. You know, some people think, you know, I gotta have it all for myself, and it's not enough for me and you to share.
Selfish,
there's plenty of money to go around.
Yeah, it's plenty of money in this world. Money gets
made.
But
that's also the slave mindset that was adapted a long time ago.
Yeah.
That crab in a barrel. And they said that we would be thinking this way for years and years to come. We're on what, year 500? And we still in the same shit? Like, at some point, some change got to come. And that comes from within the African-American community ourselves, as well as outside the system, outside in the system that is set up for us to fail. But you can't fight the system that's set up to fail as well as your neighborhood.
Right.
By yourself.
Right.
And that's why you have so many African Americans ending up in the system or their third strike and they got life for nothing.
All right.
For nothing. Because they couldn't, because one, the people that did make it out of the neighborhood didn't give a fuck about them. The ones that were still in the neighborhood. Two, the system is set up for you to fail.
Right.
Three, our people are not for each other. So how do you expect a black man, a black woman, or a black child to be successful and succeed?
That's why we go for ourselves. We do our individual thing.
It starts at home. It starts at home. Parents have to talk to their kids constantly about everything now. I think you really can't hide any of these things from your kids nowadays because it's so important, and this knowledge has to be passed down. That, you know, if we don't start early, then we're just going to continue repeating this trend that we've been repeating for decades.
Like I said, it's the same mindset.
And we have so much to worry about every single day. I can name at least 10 things that we have to constantly worry about every single day. Like white folks, they have to worry about what? Just illness.
Oh my God, the stock market.
Maybe poverty. You know, but we constantly have all these different hurdles and obstacles that we have to constantly try to hop over so that way we can.
We're not given the same opportunities.
Nope.
And I can't stand when they say that. You're given the same opportunities that we're given. No, you're not.
We're not.
I mean, first, you got black houses without fathers.
Well,
I mean, we got it's white houses without, you know, the father around. All different types of houses, you know.
It's more proportionate. You're going to have an absentee father in a black home.
Yeah, but
that's just starting the conversation of the whole.
There's so many different layers to this. Yeah. You know, but this has been a very spirited conversation.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all tuning in to the show. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.